Hey everyone, and welcome. So today we're pulling back the curtain on artificial intelligence. We all see the incredible things it can do, right? But there's this huge hidden side that we almost never talk about, what it actually costs. Let's dive in. When you ask a chatbot a question or have it create an image out of thin air, it just feels so seamless. It's like magic. It's clean, it's instant, it's powerful. But that very feeling of effortlessness is hiding a massive, resource-hungry reality. So what's the real price we're paying for all that magic?
I think for most of us, AI kind of lives up in the cloud. Even the name sounds so light and fluffy, right? It feels weightless, totally immaterial, like it doesn't have any physical footprint at all.
But yeah, that couldn't be further from the truth. Every single one of those queries, every image, every command, it all requires an immense amount of computational power. And that power doesn't just come from the sky. It comes from very real, very power-hungry data centers right here on planet Earth. And when you start to actually add up that energy demand, the numbers they get pretty staggering. This brings us to a really shocking power bill, one that shows just how massive AI's appetite for energy truly is. To really wrap our heads around the scale we're talking about, we need something to compare it to. And it turns out the AI industry's crazy energy use has a very surprising and, let's be honest, a kind of controversial twin. Yep, you're seeing that right. Bitcoin. For years, all we've heard about is the colossal energy footprint of crypto mining. Well, the data is now suggesting that the AI industry is playing in the exact same league. Okay, so this number is the whole point. Both the AI industry and the entire Bitcoin network are estimated to be chewing through around 150 terawatt hours of electricity every single year. That is a truly mind-boggling amount of energy. Now, this is where it gets really wild. To put that number into perspective, 150 terawatt hours is more energy than a lot of mid-sized countries use in an entire year. So what this shows us is that we're talking about an energy demand on a national scale for not one, but two completely digital industries. But here's the thing, this isn't just about a big electricity bill. It's about what that bill represents. See, it's just the most obvious part of a much bigger, much messier pile of hidden costs. And this is what our source material calls the trillion-dollar slop. So to get what the slop is, we first have to understand this idea of systemic costs. Basically, these are all the expenses that the companies making the tech don't actually pay for themselves. Instead, those costs they get pushed onto the public, onto our shared infrastructure, and onto the environment. And that giant pile of societal burdens that nobody's really accounting for, the strain on our power grids, the incredible amount of water needed to cool data centers, the e-waste, the public subsidies, that is the trillion-dollar slop. It's the messy, hidden price tag for this whole technological revolution. So how does this actually affect you and me? Well, these costs become very real. When a huge new industry puts this kind of demand on the power grid, it can lead to higher electricity bills for everybody. It puts a massive strain on water resources in the communities where these data centers are built. We all end up paying for it, one way or another. And this really brings us to the absolute heart of the issue. It's a modern dilemma with enormous stakes. You've got the incredible promise of AI on one side and this enormous, hidden systemic cost on the other. It's a classic case of the payoff versus the price. And so this is the central question being asked here. Is the meaningful payoff that we get from AI actually worth this massive price? A price that, remember, is mostly being paid by all of us. Let's just break that down a bit. On one side of the balance sheet, you have these incredible payoffs, right? Game-changing scientific discoveries, huge medical advances, powerful new creative tools. The potential is just undeniable. But then on the other side, you have the systemic costs we've been talking about, massive energy use and higher utility bills for the public, just to name a couple. So as we start to put all these pieces together, we have to come back to our main theme. How do we even begin to calculate the true cost of AI? And maybe more importantly, who is actually footing the bill? This quote really just nails it. The true cost isn't that monthly subscription you might pay. It's really a hidden tax on all of our shared resources, our energy grids, our water, our environment. It's not one single bill that one company pays. It's a vast, sprawling cost that's spread out across all of society. And for the most part, it stays completely invisible. And that leaves us with one last and really crucial question. As this technology gets more and more powerful, and as it consumes even more of our resources, who gets to decide what a meaningful payoff even is? Who gets to decide what is and what isn't worth the cost? Definitely something to think about.